Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. I am keenly awaiting Star Citizen's roadmap update, but in the meantime, we have a load of info on XenoThreat playtests, which are currently still ongoing in an attempt to get it ready for release this week for live. I mean, it is going live on Thursday, Friday of this week, but there's a lot to talk about with that. We have a Jumptown stats breakdown, new RSI sub offerings, and questions about the Gen 12 renderer and Vulkan stuff. There is still ongoing XenoThreat playtests on the 3.16.1 PTU version of the game. So up on the test servers, they're still playing this. I want to talk about the state of that and what fixes have gone into the build that we're currently playing on the PTU for people that are. Many more fixes have gone into the build to help with many issues related to XenoThreat, and we wanted to take this time with the PTU open to run another night of it to gather info and feedback. So with that build, they added mission logic to force restart the event if something causes it to stall and not complete after a certain period. They fixed multiple AI ships despawning or vanishing instead of quantum traveling away, an issue that caused the Javelin to fail to quantum travel from Jericho after completing Phase 2 of XenoThreat via completing the second instance of the Protect the Starfarer event. They fixed an issue that allowed whiskey glasses to degrade server performance. What? But I suppose it's good to know that that's a thing that they've now solved, little entities causing issues, and they fixed multiple client crashes related to XenoThreat as well. However, from feedback on the event, there are still some issues with it. Idrises, for example, aren't that tanky. They can go down pretty quickly, and taking out a couple of them is actually relatively easy, even for a small group. This is compounded on servers that are suffering from desync, having the AI not really threatening you or dodging much. There is also an element of new ships and balance here too, with some very powerful firepower from the Redeemer and the Ares just shredding larger ships. Once servers are in a better state with sharding, network updates and or server meshing, I think these events will be a magnitude better. They are fun anyway, but they have to balance them with desync, imbalance, and bugs in mind, and players have to hope that they get on a new server that holds up well during a XenoThreat playthrough. Hopefully we'll see some hotfixes and some little updates for XenoThreat 3.0 before live as it heads to those live servers this Thursday or Friday. So hopefully it will be in a good state for players to enjoy. Jumptown 2.0 stats. So Cloud Imperium released some stats, and I wanted to talk about these stats that Cloud Imperium released and break them down a little bit and talk about what I think they mean. I really like stats for working out meta, how players play, seeing what worked, what didn't, and sort of like a wider overview of what was going on. Jumptown was all about, at certain times, going to some contested areas which were Jumptown, Raven's Roost, and Paradise Cove. And you'd try and collect boxes of maize, which were dispensed there regularly during certain times, and then you could sell them for a huge profit. You could either sell them to the low orbit stations if you were doing it legally, or you could sell them to Grimhex if you were doing it illegally. And there was a huge amount of money to be made from doing that. Millions and millions and millions quite easily per player. So let's have a look at this. There were over 3 times more maize confiscated and legally sold to stations, 21.5 million units of it, in fact, compared to players selling it to Grimhex illegally, with only 6.3 million units. That means it was typically, and much more largely, just easier to do this legally, and to either queue, do it with a large org, or people weren't contesting each other, or and when they were contesting each other, they were still selling it to those stations. Maybe because sometimes you're obviously not going to get criminal rating. If the comm array goes down, you're not actually going to be doing it illegally, if you see what I mean, in that area. So if the comm array's off, if you murder anyone, you're not getting a criminal rating from it. You can just take their stuff. Also, if you cleverly steal someone's ship or the boxes out of someone's ship, well, that's not necessarily going to be something that is considered illegal either. So obviously there are lots of edge cases here, but a huge amount more of the maize was sold to the low orbit stations. Also, please bear in mind that Grimhex, from a couple of these locations, is quite far away from them. So typically it would be a lot easier to sell to the low orbit stations. The Redeemer was the most deadly ship, with over 5,000 kills. Coming a little under that, with almost 4.9 thousand kills, was the Aegis Gladius, which is good to see. I love the fact that that's pretty much a meta ship and lots of people are using it. Then we had the Crusader A2 and the Hercules there, with 4.1 thousand kills, which makes sense because it's got a big old bomb which can wipe people out. Then we had the Crusader Ares Inferno with 3.1 thousand kills, and the Aegis Vanguard Sentinel with almost 3.1 thousand kills as well, just a little bit under. Now, Sentinel, that's interesting that it wasn't one of the other Vanguards. Looking at the most deadly weapons, as expected, the Panther Laser Repeater has the most kills with 8.4 thousand. Then it's the Rhino with 3.8 thousand, the Ares Inferno Gatling with 2.4 thousand, then the Ions Cannon with 1.7 thousand. But really interesting, the mother of all bombs, the Colossus Bomb, is 5th, and with almost as many kills as the Ions Cannon. I suppose the A2 was always going to be a powerful weapon against ground targets. It will literally vaporize any infantry on the ground and a lot of the ships. It just drops a bomb, bam, you're done. You can't really avoid it very well. Some ships will be able to survive it, but yeah, you're not in a great position if you're on the ground anyway. Interestingly, the Orgs that got the most kills also got the most maze. You could go, well, actually, yeah, that's relatively obvious. But there's pretty direct correlation to the most kills, the most maze, the most maze, the most kills. You can read that either way, but more kills, more money. 4 of the top 5 Orgs have many thousands of members. However, Skunkworks do have less than 550 members, and they made the top 5 Orgs for kills and maze. The 5th Org, admittedly, but I think that's pretty good. It shows that Hardcraft can probably compete with large numbers. At least that's what I read from it, maybe it's not. Though we're not privy of exact amounts of maze and kills here for each player and each Org. It could have been a huge difference between 4th to 5th. For all we know. The total kills for the event were surprisingly low, with 63.5 thousand total kills and almost 12,000 kills on foot. I suppose the event was only on for a few days, really, and limited times, and these are stats from the live servers rather than any of the other tests as well with it, so it's good to know. I like these sort of stats. Jumptown will return later in February, most likely with some improvements. Now, there are some other stats that I would have liked to have seen here. Total credits earned, for example. Actually, we can just roughly, at times, the 27.9 million units of maze by 1,600 per unit, which I believe is what you got when you sold it to the low orbit stations. That's around 44.5 billion Alpha UEC that was made by selling maze. I wonder how much maze was lost or destroyed, though, or is still being held onto to this day. That's really interesting. How much value of ships were destroyed? So there's a lot of stats that I would have seen, like with Eve, online that I'm really interested in, but they don't show them for Star Citizen yet. But I'd love to see that stuff, and I'd love to know if you've got any stories about your Jumptown experience, good or bad, or indifferent. February 2020 Subflare RSI subscribers are getting some in-game plushies for free for their flare this month. So standard Centurion subs get a C2 Hercules plushie, Emperators get a C2 and an M2 plush, and there's also a A2 Hercules available to purchase in the subscribers store. If you subscribe to the RSI sub program before the 8th of February, you will get those. Also, subs have access to the Hercules series to fly throughout the month, and they can buy a Nova Tumbrel Nova tank with some extras too. On Friday at 6 PM, there is a Star Citizen Live, all things graphics, and Cloud Imperium are taking questions. I'll post the link down below so you can get involved with that thread. This, for me, is a good sign that we are going to see lots of Vulkan and Gen 12 updates over the next couple of Star Citizen major patches. I'm very much looking forward to greater graphics options and Vulkan integration, all that sort of jazz there. I do think that's going to be a big step forward for the game, making it able to be a lot more performant on a lot wider range of systems, and just generally them be able to improve the graphics significantly further after that. Some of the top questions are, what's the status of Vulkan? Are we getting real night vision? There's one of them as well, that's one of the top ones. With the dev cycle being long for Star Citizen, how do you deal with ever-changing graphics tech and the rework and still keep moving forward? Are we getting more graphic settings soon? What will make the biggest graphical impact on the game? I saw some people asking about, is the Unreal 5 engine a better choice for Star Citizen, or do you think Star Citizen's going to be dated before it releases? There's many, many more, though. I will make a summary of all those questions and answers once we know more and they've been answered. But I really like Cloud Imperium being open to questions and interactivity from the community. It's one of the best things about the project. But anyway, that's it for your Star Citizen news and updates today. But what do you think? Are you looking forward to XenoThreat 3.0? Have you played in any of the PTU tests? Did you expect different stats from Jumptown, different ships to be the bestest ships, more kills or whatever? What stats would you like to actually see Star Citizen put out regularly or add to these sort of breakdowns? Do you hope that Cloud Imperium will make physical plushies of all their ships to buy in real life? Are you excited or nervous about the roadmap update that comes out later today, at time of recording anyway? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below.
Mummy, my friend told me at school today that Star Citizen was a scam. Oh, Tim, is that why you got into a fight? Yes, Mummy. The only scam is people stealing all your internet infos and blocking your ability to watch things on Netflix and such with regional-based access. That's why we use our words, Tim. You should have told those bullies to get NordVPN, and also that Star Citizen is the best damn space sim ever.
Yes, these two people are right. Get NordVPN, and also Star Citizen's great. Also, Timmy was a 35-year-old teacher at the school. And it wasn't even a school, it was a pub, and he was a barman. Every month we have a ship giveaway, and for February 2022, it's for an Aegis Saber, the high-tech medium fighter with loads of firepower, but it comes in an auspicious red paint scheme as part of the Red Festival, as well as lifetime insurance and a Star Citizen game package. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is comment on any of my videos made during the month. You can further support the channel by clicking the join button underneath any of my videos. You can also donate or become a Patreon. Your feedback, though, from comments really helps the channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And also, if you're looking for a diegetic little control-y boy that makes your Star Citizen experience and potentially some other games pretty good fun on your touchscreen devices, then check out Game Glass. You've got that, you've got NordVPN links, you've got loads of other stuff, all in the links below. Click them all! Click them all! Maybe not all of them, that would be madness.